Hello and welcome to my channel. Today it is the beginning of September, which means the beginning of some real fall makeup looks. I'm gonna go full force. I really just want to have fun playing with all these different color palettes that come up as September and October progresses. Right now, this time of year, I find it's just the beginning of the leaves changing, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange. But you'll see that among like these purple wildflowers that start to come up and like goldenrod everywhere. So I'm kind of thinking of that color palette a little bit, but also thinking of the color palette of this print I have that's in my bedroom. And I brought it out to show you. This print, excuse the reflections, I look at and marvel at the colors so often. It's by Crow Furtado, who's a friend of mine. I'll link his Instagram down below. So I have 4 prints by him, but this one is my favorite. There's something about these colors that just sing to me. So I'm thinking of doing like a purple eye like this. It's kind of a muted purple paired with like some oranges, maybe a touch of like this yellowy orange happening, something like that. It's going to be like a combo of things. So yeah, basically a makeup look inspired by art, inspired by nature, and just the beginning of leaning into these beautiful, beautiful shades. I'm thinking of using the She's and Parties palette. I feel like these purples are like amazing for that. I also have the Danessa Myricks Groundwork Blooming Romance here. I feel like there's a bit of that. My Melt new orange shades, which I did a video on, as well as some Vive blushes. I find Vive is like a brand that has really like great shades for this time of year. So yeah, that's the plan for today. I think I'm going to work in reverse again, lip to cheek to eyes. That's what I've been doing lately and I really like it. So yeah, let's get into it. For the lip, I have 3 Melt Cosmetics lipsticks here, and I might not use all 3, we'll see, but I'm definitely going to use 2 because I want to create a bit of a gradient with the lip. So it's not just one shade of orange. It's like got some texture happening with it. First, I'm going to use Vive Bark as a liner. I really discovered that this was a great lip liner for a lot of orangey shades. So I'm going to start with that. It's a great brown because it's like not too dark. And nor is it like overly warm that you're kind of losing depth. It's just like the perfect in-between. Then I'm going to go in with Melt Mum, just on the corners of the lips. I'm just going to apply it like this. So I'm like leaving space for the other orange I want to use. I'm going to blend it by going like this. I've never tried this lip combo before, so I hope it works out. Then I'm going to go in with Pumpkin and get that in the center because this is more of like the yellowy orange. And then start to blend it. It's like I almost want it to like blur into almost one color at first, so there's no sort of edges between everything, and then go back and refine like if I want a little bit more of one shade or another. And I know this might seem like a lot of work for one lip. I mean, I really like that shade. It's like the best of all worlds. And then lastly, let's see what happens if I put a bit of 710 right in the center, which is a bit more like mustardy. Like that. Okay, definitely a little bit overkill with how many lipsticks I used to do this. The effect is pretty subtle. I am loving the shade that it kind of created though. I think you could easily do this with just a darker lip line, smudging in to like a burnt orange, either like Pumpkin or 710. I don't think I needed 3 lipsticks to do this, but here's like the orange it's giving related to this picture, like just like a touch of that brighter orange, not quite the same, but like a nod to it, but while this sort of burnt orange happening as well. I'm gonna basically do the same thing with the blushes. It's been a long time since I really just did a powdered blush look. So going in with Vive Piazza first. This is where it's gonna get that more depth. I'm gonna really go light, brushing that sort of on the bottom end of the blush placement, like right here, sweeping up to the bronzing area. Are powder blushes underrated these days? I've been such a cream blush person, but sometimes when I just use powder, I'm like, it's pretty impactful. It's so like almost blurring. And you can kind of see where it's stopping on the cheekbone. I'm going to take Pesca from Vive, which is kind of like that brighter orange happening in the painting, and put that a little bit higher, blend it into Piazza. Once again, something really subtle, something you can see better in person than probably on camera. And I freaking love this brush for blush because it's so coarse and like there's space between it, so it kind of gives you a lot of room and time to play with the pigments. This brush kind of got me back into using powders. For highlighter, I'm going to go in with the Rituel de Fille Creature of Light. Because everything's so matte, I don't really want to add to the kind of dustiness that can happen when using all powders. So just using this as like a topper highlight. This is my favorite liquid highlight actually to use as a topper. I find some are so kind of emollient. They really pick up like the foundation and blush beneath, but this one, I don't know, it doesn't really seem to do that. So I do like it for a more natural highlight. You know, so it just looks like the skin isn't being baked down by all the powders. First thing I'm going to do is lay down a bright base with this shade here from the Danessa Myricks palette. It's like a very pale pink, and it reminds me of some of the colors happening in the picture, like in the hands. So it's going to like stay within this like purpley zone, but be a shade I can turn to brighten. I'm going in with like the creamy side. And it's really not far off at all from my skin tone. It's just like a touch more pink. Now I'm going to shift to the She's in Parties palette and go in with that lavender. It's a lavender, but it's like a little muted, which is really cool. I find it a really unique shade. Start to brush that over most of the lid. Using like the sides of the brush to get the pigment on, and then the end of the brush to get the blend into the pale pink that I placed down first. Now I'm going to build up a little bit of depth with this shade here. Stamping it down near the lash line and then out a little bit of a chunky wing. So getting this kind of wing-like shape, stamping it down, and then going in with this second brush to blend it mostly this way into the purple that I laid down before this. Taking a little bit of the lighter purple from the Melt palette, bringing it under the lash line. I'm going to add a little bit of shimmer with Strange Love on top. It's nothing really sparkly. It's just going to be like a touch of some like reflect happening here. And then lastly, I think I'll go in with the dark end of this palette just to deepen along the upper lash line and just get that extra touch of depth before putting the mascara on. I'm gonna take an angled brush and stamp this pigment. I actually might try the cream a little bit too. It looks a little darker. Yeah, the cream part is like a little bit cooler even. And I like the cream because it can easily just like really get in there. I'm going to brighten the waterline with Melt Ivory. I don't know how Katie Jane Hughes does a waterline without pulling her eye down. Just kind of gets in there. I don't know how she does it. I feel like it's going to get all in the lash line too. So I always have to do this, which kind of looks gross on camera. Yeah, I'm going to pop up camera, do my lashes, and then see if there's any finishing touches or anything I want to change up. It's definitely a really unique color story. Right now it's looking maybe a little odd, but I feel like I have faith the lashes are going to just like make it make sense. So yeah, gonna pop off and we'll see how we feel about this. Here's the finished makeup look. I feel like the lashes did help pull it together, as it often does. And yeah, this is just a really unique color story to wear. I feel like if anything, I might have added a little bit more depth to the cheeks, but I'm going to leave it for now. I just think it's really cool, really fun. Here's how the picture looks in comparison. Yeah, totally got the colors, I think. Okay, yeah, I think if anything, I just wouldn't have done so many layers with the lips. That was super unnecessary. That's okay, you live, you learn. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below if there's any fall color stories in particular you want to see. I'm thinking of kind of doing a bit of a mini series, like focusing on one color, like yellows, like burnt yellows, orange look, red look, that kind of thing. Monochrome browns. I don't know. We'll see what the fall inspiration brings. It just tends to be a really exciting time of year for just like feeling really inspired, feeling a little bit more rested, less time outside, more time just like cozying up, letting the mind and body rest. So yeah, that's it for today. Toasty, let's take it away. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching till the end. And until next time, may you find yourselves a little bit of makeup magic. And we will see you in the next video. Bye, witches. Why are you so cute? Who's that? Who's that? See, he doesn't always look so sleepy. Look at those ears. Oh.